Here we go.
All right, so we've just merged. We just had two back-to-back tribals. How are you feeling? What in the game do you feel like is going well for you, and what in the game do you think maybe isn't going well for you?
I think my alliance is really trustworthy, but I think once I get to the end, I can't beat them.
Is there plans as far as your gameplay goes about these people that you can't beat, or are they people you just want to stick with to the end and then worry about it then?
Um, I think I have a plan on what I'm going to do. Like, I definitely don't want to go to the end with someone I know I can't beat.
Who do you think you can beat?
Um, I probably can't beat Micah. He's made like tight connections with almost everyone.
Who do you think you can beat?
I mean, I think I could probably beat Jenna because she's not very active.
Do you
Unless she
think
like starts getting more active, then I don't know.
do you think that this idea of building a resume in Survivor is something that you have been doing or want to do, or are you okay with sticking with alliances until you need to cut them? Like, what does building a resume look like to you in a virtual Survivor game like this?
I think virtual Survivor is more of a social kind of game. Make better connections with everyone. You can't really be a physical threat as much here because you need to have strategy and who you are aligning with, and you kind of everything's like virtually for the challenges, so you can't really use your physical ability on that.
Wouldn't you say that? I mean, people have been calling you a challenge threat because you did phenomenal in that first challenge for your team. You did great in the shopping challenge. You brought a lot of low prices to the table. You did really well. You got second place in the Survivor trivia. I know you didn't get any more than that first one done today in the challenge, but you were the first one to finish the ski level. Like, do you think that you're good at some of these games? And do you think that people are viewing you as a challenge threat, or have you stepped away from that title?
I'm trying to just like lay low for the first few challenges, the merge, and when I really need to win, I'm gonna start like doing better.
Do you think that this idea of idols out there, because we both know you don't have an idol, and you know that there are potentially three idols out there. Someone could have found them, but there are three in play in the game right now. Is that something that's on your mind a lot, or do you think that you're just not going to worry about idols?
Uh, Particularly on this vote, I was extremely worried about idols, especially the second vote of of this night's tribal, because I thought Scott was definitely gonna have something to play.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't as far as your game goes. Although Jenna would have been the one out, so you still would have been here regardless. I mean, you're at the halfway point. I know we've put in, I think, six. This is our sixth day we're on right now playing this game, and we're down to 8 people out of 16. Did you think coming into this that you were going to get that far? You've played Survivor simulations before. Um, how did you feel like you were going to contend in this version of the game?
This version is a lot different than Survivor is on Instagram because you don't really like get to talk people face to face. But I thought this would be a lot harder than it is on Instagram, and I was right because one, people aren't really my age and they want me out because I'm like a little bit younger than them, which kind of doesn't make sense to me.
I'm going to say from my perspective, I don't think age matters at all. You're 13, you're the youngest one in the game, and you're still here. You've so far beat half the people, someone who's 22, someone who's 20, someone who's 18. It doesn't matter because if age mattered, then you would have been the first one out, which clearly you weren't. And I know from a production standpoint, it's cool to see people of all ages doing well. And to be honest, you're only what, 3 or 4 years younger than over half of these people. So it's not even a huge difference at all. And you've been able to perform well in challenges. And so a face-to-face thing where you're being targeted just because you're young, it's hard obstacles to jump over. Do you feel like you've done a good job getting over this idea of being a 13-year-old?
Um, I say I'm doing all right with it. Like, I know some people are still kind of iffy with me, but I'm working on it.
Do you think you have a better chance of having people work with you just because you're often maybe overlooked a lot, so you have that chance to kind of slide in between those cracks? Or have you figured out that that's not the case and it's actually the opposite?
I think it's both. Depending on the day, some people want to work with me, some people don't. Like, when I was on the old Ahi, not the original one, but like before merge, um, I know that Scott, AB, and Hunter, they all probably wanted to work with me at one point and then kind of cut me loose. So I had to fight for myself within Xander and Sammy.
Well, you're here. You've done a lot of things right, obviously. Would you consider yourself someone who's potentially a free agent in this game because people that you're aligned with have commented on your age and how that may be a negative, and then there's people that you've been voting out? Would you say that you're somebody that could flip back and forth, or are you comfortable with the alliance you're currently in?
I'd say if need be, I would flip.
Who do you
Whatever's
trust the
best for my
most?
game. That is hard. I don't really trust any of them, but they're my only option.
So if you had to pick someone that you would say, okay, I know I don't trust any of them, but if I had to pick one person who I don't think would write my name down anytime soon, who would you say is that person that might be at the top of your trust list?
I'd say Xander probably wouldn't write my name down unless it was a tiebreaker vote, like he did to Sammy.
Yeah, well, actually, I was just going to bring up the whole Sammy vote. I know it was a while ago, but everything matters in this game. People can bring up stuff later on. How did you feel after that Sammy vote? Because in the revote, you were the only person who decided to stick with Sammy and was willing to go for rocks. Did it hurt you that Xander flipped, or are you okay with that realization that he was playing for himself and not for his alliance?
I mean, for me, I play for not only myself, for my alliance. Like, I was willing to risk my game for Sammy because we had made a close relationship. She was like the only person I could really trust. But Xander decided to take his fate into his own hands and wrote Hunter's name down. Not Hunter, Sammy.
Yeah. Did you feel
And
like, yeah,
yeah,
keep going. I'm sorry.
I feel like he would do the same to any of us if there was a tie, like anyone in my four-person alliance.
Does does Xander playing a game individually for himself like that, is it something that you view as a threat, or as just as something you kind of want to step away from for a little bit in case you're in the line of fire?
I mean, I say he would be a threat because, I mean, he has connections with everyone here too. But um, how would I say this? But it's just scary how he can flip on someone like that when him and Sammy were tight.
Yeah. Is it do you think that he's resume building, or do you think it is just fear that he was acting on, as opposed to you, because you wanted to stick with your alliance and you were willing to go into drawing rocks? What's your reaction toward that afterward? Like, did you feel betrayed, or did you just kind of feel irritated?
I was really irritated because um, he didn't have to lie and say that he was going to vote um, Hunter with me. He could have just told me straight up that he was going to vote Sammy.
So talking about the merge now, you are in an alliance. I don't know the name of it, but it's four people, and it's you and Xander and Wyatt and Micah. You guys have pulled in people to get out AB and Scott. Is this an alliance that you feel comfortable going forward against people like Hunter in the future, or do you think that things are going to get shaken up coming up?
Yeah, you
You like
glitched a
broke
little
up
bit.
for a second.
um, essentially, what I was saying was you're in an alliance of four with Xander, Micah, and Wyatt. Do you think that these are people you can move forward with to potentially get out somebody else, or do you think that things are going to shake up for you or other people?
I think that I will stick with them for at least one more vote, but then after that, I think I'm going to start taking my game into my own hands.
Okay. Do you think that getting through more votes as something that's going to be easy? Are you confident, or is there always paranoia when you're down to 8 people left in the game?
With the speed that this game is moving, there's always paranoia somewhere. Like, even tonight when we had the numbers, I was scared out of my mind.
Who do you think going forward would be the next vote for you? If you could vote anyone out in this game without even, having the numbers, if it was a perfect world and you could vote out whoever you wanted next, who would you go for?
Hunter.
Why Hunter?
He has connections with everyone on the jury. Like, AB and Scott were his two number one allies, and if he were to make it farther and win every single immunity challenge, he would definitely win.
Fair. Looking forward in the game, there's this idea you just kind of brought up. Hunter has done good jury management because he has people that he's with. How much does jury management play a factor for you, knowing that everybody on the jury can vote for you to win or not vote for you to win? Does that play a factor in who you vote out?
I think it does play in who I'm going to vote out, but I don't know what they're going to be. I don't know if they're going to be bitter or if they're going to respect the move that I made.
Would you rather do less work and get to the end with no burned bridges, or make a lot of big moves and make a lot of people mad?
I'd say I'd rather make a lot of big moves because even if I wouldn't win at the end, I think in my book I would have deserved it.
Okay.
I have a question. It's kind of just a personal question, but I want to know, have you really seen every Survivor episode more than, is it 3 times or 2 times?
I think it's 3, yeah.
How in the world have you sat down to watch every episode more than twice? That's 2 times a big number, but 3, wow.
So where I live, our school schedules are like all mixed up and stuff. So I have off 3 weeks out of every few months. So that's basically what I do when I'm off.
Are you in year-round school?
Yes.
Okay, hey, that's kind of interesting. I've always wondered how that format is, and it's kind of cool that you give your time to Survivor. I know that like a few summers ago, I spent my entire summer just trying to watch every season I had never watched. I'm 20, and so my first season that I remember watching was Tocantins with JT. And I went back and rewatched everything. It's super cool that you have this knowledge. I mean, that could be the next question. Do you feel like that having knowledge on the real game of Survivor helps you in virtual Survivor, or is it a different dynamic over the screen and over Zoom?
That's hard. I think the strategy is around the same, but the different activities that you have to do to get you further are way different than they are on Real Survivor.
So activities are challenges and sometimes tribals and idol hunting. We've already talked about idols a little bit. Well, let's talk about if you were to get an idol, let's just say tonight. If you found an idol tonight using the different clues, or you just find it randomly, how do you work with that? Because, and I've been saying this to everybody, idols are such a blessing and a curse. It guarantees you safety, but it's almost worse if you got voted out with an idol in your pocket than if you got voted out without one. And then do you use it to gain people's trust, or do you paint a target on your back with it? What do you do if you have an idol? Like, if you found an idol tonight, what do you do with it, Macy?
I probably wouldn't tell anybody about it, because as soon as you tell someone about your idol, all paranoia and like chaos breaks loose, because they're gonna think of you, oh, she found an idol, she can find more, or she can do more damage in this game than we thought she could.
Yeah. Well, we're winding down here. These things are usually like 10, 20 minutes. Bethany, if you have any more questions, you can go and throw those out. We usually have 1 or 2 questions we finish off with before we sign off. I don't know if you have anything, Bethany.
Not off the top of my head right now, no.
All right. Is there anything you want to bring up, Macy, that we can talk about regarding the game you've been playing, or potential future moves, or or people that you love or you hate. Is there anything you want to talk about before I throw my final question at you?
I think I'm good.
Super cool. Well, I'm going to throw my final question at you and then thank you for doing this. Essentially, tomorrow is a new day. What is the ideal plan for you to get past tomorrow's tribal?
That's easy, to win immunity.
Now, let's say you don't win immunity. What's the best plan other than that? Because obviously immunity is great. I mean, Micah winning it today and it counting for 2 tribals, so much power. And I guess it's a good thing for you that he was an ally of yours. But if you don't win immunity tomorrow, and let's just say nobody in your alliance does, let's say Hunter wins immunity, what's your course of action?
I think we would either vote out Jenna or Frankie. But I don't really want to vote out Jenna. My alliance does for some reason, though. Like, I think she's an easy person to be in alliance with because she doesn't really talk to anybody.
Do you think that you're going to try to get your alliance to change their mind, or you're just going to go with it and then vote out Jenna?
If they're really adamant about voting out Jenna, I mean, I guess I wouldn't have any other option. But if they just bring up the name, I'm going to try to get the name changed.
Okay. Well, we wish the best for you. We wish the best for everybody. We're down to 8 now. It's the halfway point. The merge started off crazy. You'll probably get more information tonight on how tomorrow will look, whether or not there's 1 or 2 challenges or 1 or 2 tribals. This game is quick-paced because everyone has lives, and because we're utilizing Zoom and Snapchat, it's harder to take so much time as opposed to an Instagram game. And so I want to say I'm extremely grateful that you decided to play this game. You've been great so far. I've enjoyed watching what you've been doing. I know that Bethany has as well. And we're excited to see what the last 8 people can do in the upcoming days. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And thank you for doing this Zoom with us, because it's just a way for us to kind of like see how your game's going more. And it's just a lot of confessionals all at once.
And congrats, you made the final 8. Like, that's really impressive.
I thought I wasn't going to make it to merge.
Well, you're here now, and
Did it.
guess you can't stop now.